Hello, lovely listener. The Carry On crew risked attaining a certain infamy, see what I did there, by parodying Liz Taylor's Cleopatra, but they pulled it off spectacularly. I'm Stephen Archibald, and welcome to my movie podcast.
Here on the screen are the epic days of Imperial Rome and the shattering events that led to the downfall of Caesar, the plotting and the intrigue.
I must warn you, Julius. There is unrest in the Senate. There have been rumbling.
You eat all that spaghetti they eat.
See the historic stabbing of Julius Caesar and hear his immortal words.
Infamy! Infamy! They've all got it in for me!
Here are the famous figures of history portrayed as never before. Sidney James as the rugged, handsome lover. Mark Antony. Kenneth Williams as the mighty Caesar. Victorious in battle, he couldn't make the peace.
Sorry to bother you, sir, but what do you want done with your woman here?
What is that? It's just a little thing I picked up in Britain.
Joan Sims as Calpurnia, Caesar's adoring wife. Charles Hawtrey as Seneca, the old sage who knew his onion.
Why don't you come on in? The water's lovely.
Hello. This is the Came From Within podcast of cult movie reviews. They came, we saw, it conquered. Carry On Cleo, 1964. When the decision was taken to relocate Joseph L. Mankiewicz's Cleopatra from London to Rome, several costumes and sets were left behind. The Carry On producer Peter Rogers put this carefully crafted material to great use by making Carry On Cleo. It's the 10th movie in the Carry On franchise. Talbot Rothwell's script has so many funny lines, so many puns, and even the bad ones have the power to make you smile. The film is much loved and so good-natured. Caesar, the marvellous Kenneth Williams, grows tired of drab, rainy Britain. Consequently, he and his army return to Rome, taking British slaves with them, including the cowardly Hengest Pod, Kenneth Connor, and the more courageous Horsa, Jim Dale. Hengest and Horsa get caught up in Mark Antony's plot to bump off Caesar in order to rule his empire alongside the beautiful Egyptian Queen Cleopatra. And I can't think of any other actors more suited in these key roles than Sid James and Amanda Barry. Miss Barry, who was on the verge of turning 29 when the movie was being filmed, had appeared in Carry On Cabby in 1963, in a supporting role as a cab driver. She's wonderful as Cleopatra, portraying her as a schemer who, on the surface, comes across, paradoxically, as both sexually ravishing and yet somehow innocent. It's quite a feat. As for the sublime Sid James, he chose to portray Mark Antony more or less in the manner of a 1920s gangster. Some of Talbot Rothwell's dialogue highlights this, as in, for example, when Caesar and Antony greet one another. Tony, Julie, just like a couple of old-time mobsters. Plus, there's the fact that the story revolves around a ruthless power struggle. Apart from Sid and Kenneth, that other Kenneth, Mr. Connor, deserves a mention, as our accidental hero, Hengest Pod. In any other hands, this character would come across as pathetic and unappealing. But Connor injects so much sincerity and vulnerability into the role, we actually warm to him. And it's always good to see the Third Doctor John Pertwee pop up in anything. In this movie, he portrays an Egyptian soothsayer. John would go on to make 3 other cameo appearances in Carry On Pictures, namely Cowboy from 1965, Screaming from 1966, and the ill-fated Columbus from 1992. I suppose it's only fitting that Kenneth Williams got most of the best lines, such as, "Where's me laurels? Oh silly me, I've been resting on 'em." And of course, "Infamy, infamy, they've all got it in for me." Yes, I know I sound more like Moss from the IT crowd, but hey, that's the best impersonation I could do. In fact, in a Sky Movies poll from 2007, this one-liner was voted as being the funniest in cinema history. However, the killer irony is that, for all his brilliant original one-liners, Talbot Rothwell didn't create this one. He borrowed it from Frank Muir and Dennis Norden, who had originally used it on their BBC radio comedy show, Take It From Here. The fact that Amanda Barry moves around on screen with great elegance and poise, as Cleopatra, could be largely associated to her having been a professional dancer. Ironically, Amanda was supposed to take over from Rita Moreno in the stage musical She Loves Me on the same day shooting commenced on Carry On Cleo.
All right, I'll come straight to the point, miss.
Yes? Is there something I can do for you?
Go on, tell her. You know, she's getting too big for her boots.
Boots? What boots? Don't see any boots.
Caesar's orders. She's got to go.
Go?
Yeah, gotta go.
Oh, well, goodbye.
Not me, her.
Eh? Oh, yes. Yes. Now, look, I'm very sorry, miss, but I've had my orders, madam.
Oh, don't apologise, please. I could forgive such a handsome visitor anything.
What handsome visitor? Oh, me!
I thought you said you knew how to handle women.
Well, I do. It's all right. Now, look here, miss. I have come from Rome at Caesar's express bidding to get...
Just one moment. Look, if you are going to get cross with me, I'll just get out of my bath and slip into something a little more comfortable, if you don't mind.
Even though she only appeared twice in this much-loved cinematic series, Ms. Barry clearly appreciates what these roles have done for her. In her autobiography, It's Not a Rehearsal, Amanda wrote, "I remain extraordinarily grateful to the Carry-Ons. At the time, they were just another job, but they had such visual impact that the images from them remain in people's minds." It's only a pity that, she went on to say, "In spite of other people's kind opinions, I never thought I was any good in Cleo." I'm sure Amanda's right about many things, but on this matter, she was patently wrong. In terms of cameos, Warren Mitchell, so famous at this time for playing the bigoted Alf Garnett on TV, appears here as Spensius, naturally the business partner of Marcus, and Benedict Cumberbatch's glamorous mother, Wanda Vantham, can be seen as a pretty bidder during the slave auction sequence. Wanda would make her second and final cameo in Up the Khyber in 1968. Some of the movie's contemporary reviews were rather glowing. For example, the Daily Express stated, "It is all done with enormous gusto. Every joke is bludgeoned home with a leer or a nudge, in elaborately splendid Roman and Alexandrine settings." What with his skills derived from being a former film editor, the director Gerald Thomas knew how to get the movie made quickly. Carry On Cleo was shot at Pinewood Studios between the 13th of July and the 28th of August 1964. Cobham Common in Surrey was used for the outdoor scenes, and it's always a joy to watch Joan Sims as Caesar's disgruntled wife Calpurnia, and Charles Hawtrey as the Emperor's far from wise sage Seneca. Carry On Cleo received its premiere at London's Warner Cinema on the 10th of December 1964. It was distributed by Anglo Amalgamated and made it into the UK box office top 12 of 1965. As ever, the delightful film score was provided by Eric Rodgers. It's likely these films will continue to give us comfort and joy for some time to come. I'm Stephen Archibald, and thank you very much for listening to my podcast, They Came From Within, Cult Movie Reviews. Take care, and goodbye for now.
Kenneth Connor as the ancient Briton Hengist Pod.
Oh, you silly pod.
Jim Dale as Horsa.
Son of Ethelred. Oh, not Ethelred the Unready. Oh, no. No, my dad was always ready.
And the fabulous Amanda Barrett as the exotic Cleopatra whose beauty besotted the noble Antony, using her power over men for plotting and intrigue.
There must be some way we can get rid of him.
I have a poisonous asp.
Oh, I wouldn't say that.
Oh, no. I have, look. One bite from this is enough.
Behold the beauties of ancient Rome. Breathtaking spectacle. Exciting action. Great romance.